A journey through time. The world is interconnected. Nations constantly interact. This complex web of relationships is called international relations. It is a story spanning centuries. From ancient empires to today's globalized world, the story unfolds. It's a tale of cooperation and conflict, diplomacy and war, progress and setbacks. This essay will explore the evolution of international relations. We will journey through key historical periods. We will examine the forces that have shaped the world. Ancient diplomacy, colonialism, global wars, and the Cold War will be explored. We will also look at the challenges facing us today. Terrorism, climate change, and cyber warfare are just some of the issues nations must now face. Understanding the past is crucial. It helps us navigate the complexities of the present and prepare for the future. Our journey begins in the ancient world. Here, the first seeds of international relations were sown. Section 5, the 19th century, a time of upheaval and change. The 19th century was a time of significant change. The Industrial Revolution transformed societies, new ideologies emerged, and the balance of power shifted. This period saw the rise of nationalism and imperialism. Both forces would have a profound impact on international relations. The Congress of Vienna in 1815 attempted to restore order after the Napoleonic Wars. It established a new balance of power in Europe. However, nationalist sentiments were growing. People began to identify more strongly with their nations. They sought self-determination and independence. This rise of nationalism led to the unification of Italy and Germany. It also fueled tensions within empires such as the Austro-Hungarian and Ottoman empires. Meanwhile, European powers engaged in a new wave of imperialism. They sought to expand their empires into Africa and Asia. This scramble for colonies intensified competition and rivalry among European powers. It set the stage for future conflicts. Section 6. The First World War and the League of Nations. The First World War was a global conflict. It erupted in 1914. The war was unprecedented in its scale and brutality. It involved the great powers of Europe and their colonies. The war had a devastating impact. Millions were killed, empires collapsed, and the world was forever changed. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the war. It imposed harsh penalties on Germany. Many believe this contributed to the rise of extremism and the outbreak of World War II. In the aftermath of the war, there was a growing desire for peace. This led to the creation of the League of Nations in 1920. The League was the first international organization. Its goal was to prevent future wars. It promoted collective security and disarmament. However, the League of Nations faced many challenges. It lacked effective enforcement mechanisms, and some major powers, like the United States, did not join. The League ultimately failed to prevent the outbreak of World War II, but it laid the groundwork for future international cooperation. Section 7. The Second World War and the birth of the United Nations. The Second World War was even more destructive than the first. It began in 1939. It involved the Axis powers, led by Germany, Italy, and Japan. They fought against the Allies. The Allies included Great Britain, the United States, the Soviet Union, and others. The war resulted in an estimated 40 to 80 million fatalities. It witnessed horrific atrocities, including the Holocaust. The war ended in 1945. The Allied powers emerged victorious. They were determined to create a new international order, one that would prevent such horrors from happening again. This led to the establishment of the United Nations in 1945. The UN was tasked with maintaining international peace and security. It also promoted cooperation on economic, social, and humanitarian issues. The UN has played a significant role in international relations ever since. It has worked to prevent conflicts, provide humanitarian aid, promote human rights, and address global challenges such as climate change and poverty. However, the UN also faces criticisms. Some argue it is ineffective, others criticize its bureaucratic structure. Despite these challenges, the UN remains a vital forum for international cooperation.
Section 8. The Cold War, a global standoff. The Cold War was a period of geopolitical tension. It existed between the United States and the Soviet Union. It began after World War II and lasted until the early 1990s. The two superpowers never engaged in direct military conflict, but they were locked in an ideological struggle: capitalism and democracy versus communism and authoritarianism. The Cold War shaped international relations in profound ways. It led to the formation of military alliances: NATO, led by the United States, and the Warsaw Pact, led by the Soviet Union. Both sides possessed nuclear weapons. This created a constant threat of nuclear war. The Cold War also witnessed numerous proxy wars. The superpowers supported different sides in conflicts around the world. The Cold War was a period of intense rivalry, but it also saw moments of détente. These were periods of eased tensions and increased cooperation. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 brought the world to the brink of nuclear war, but it also led to improved communication and arms control agreements. The Cold War had a profound impact on the world. It shaped political alliances, fueled regional conflicts, and led to a global arms race. Its legacy continues to influence international relations today.
Section 9, A New World Order, Globalization, and its discontents. The fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989 marked the end of the Cold War. It ushered in a new era, one characterized by globalization. Globalization refers to the increasing interconnectedness of the world, driven by advances in technology, communication, and transportation. Globalization has led to greater economic integration, with increased trade and investment flows. It has also facilitated cultural exchange and the spread of ideas and information. However, globalization has also been met with resistance. Some argue it has led to job losses in developed countries. Others criticize its impact on the environment and cultural diversity. The rise of globalization has also coincided with new security challenges. Terrorism in particular has become a major concern. The attacks of September 11, 2001 demonstrated the global reach of terrorist networks and the threat they pose to international security. Cyber warfare has also emerged as a significant challenge. States and non-state actors can now exploit vulnerabilities in cyberspace. This can disrupt critical infrastructure, steal sensitive information, and sow discord.
Section 10. The Future of International Relations. Challenges and Opportunities. The world today faces a complex array of challenges. Climate change is one of the most pressing issues. It poses a threat to the planet and human security. Rising sea levels, extreme weather events, and resource scarcity could lead to conflicts and displacement. Addressing climate change requires international cooperation. Another challenge is the rise of populism and nationalism. These forces threaten the liberal international order. They undermine multilateral institutions and fuel xenophobia and intolerance. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted both the interconnectedness of the world and the challenges of global cooperation. Despite these challenges, there are also opportunities. Technological advances offer new avenues for cooperation and development. Renewable energy technologies can help mitigate climate change. The internet and social media can connect people across borders and foster understanding. The future of international relations will depend on how effectively states and other actors address these challenges. It will require diplomacy, cooperation, and a commitment to a rules-based international order. By working together, we can create a more peaceful, just, and sustainable world.